Very metal. So sorry about that. I think when I turned the camera to the sun, it triggered higher saturation of colour in the camera for some reason. So it took me a while to figure it out. Anyway, so I covered one tip. Now I'm going to cover the next tip. Okay, so we came out here because we were on a kerfuffle because I think we had a flyby, an eagle flyby. We get hawks and eagles down here on a daily basis. Sometimes a few times a day, don't we, honeys? We always got to be on our game. Yeah. Sigrid, hello, sweetheart. Oh, such a beautiful girl. Yeah. Siggy. Anyway, so the next tip. When it comes to storing your hay or straw, I recommend to not store it in the same habitat that your ducks will be in during the day. Look, you want to keep the hay that you're storing dry, clean, and away from any dampness. And you do need to have water in the runs with your ducks. So if you don't want mouldy growth on your straw and issues down the track, because that can kill your ducks, then keep it separate. Even if you end up having to divide a run or create a sectioned off area in the run where you store the straw or hay that the ducks can't splash on or get to somehow. So anyway, so this is shocking. It's just a scrapadak outshed that was with this property. The previous tenant had put strips here and there. I am planning on fixing it when I can, a little bit better than what he's done. But I've shoved some, feed bags in gaps because I literally had cats jumping in through here, and I don't want male cat piss, and I don't want cat shit, and I don't want cat fur in these areas because this is just for the birds. This is a cat-free zone. I have a cat, she stays inside. That's enough of that. So anyway, when it comes to storage, okay. Typically, a lot of people actually stack bales of straw and hay on these crates. However, I find it just creates too much of a nice welcome home for rats and mice, or basically rodents. And you don't want to be providing a nest for rats and rodents. So I prefer to use this as a hanging shelf for my tools of the run. But when it comes to laying the straw or hay, I've got 6 bales out near my gate that I need to go get now and arrange here. But before I put them down, I just sweep everything up, or just rake it, get rid of any old hay that's there. It doesn't have to be spotlessly clean, just, enough of the previous debris gone. And I use eucalyptus oil, and I soak cotton balls. So I'll just do a few now. Just do that. Bella, your whimpers are off the planet. Bella, Bella, Bella. Look at that gorgeous taboo. Bella, Bella, Bella. So just like that, give it a good soak, and I'll show you what I've done with them. So for about 6 or 7 bales of compressed straw or hay, I pretty much have about 3 soaked up balls, and I'll show you what I've done in a sec. Just put the lid back on my oil so I don't drop it. God, I love that smell. So I've basically just scattered a few, and basically my straws will go on top of that now. Now all I have done is put 1 long strip of wood, and with this long strip of wood, so if we have a look at our sawdust here, pine wood shavings, that's had the dust removed. Can you see how it's tipping up on an angle? So that allows some air to go underneath the bales of hay or straw, but not so much of a gap that's provided with the crates that the mice and rats can go, whew, look at this cool place for winter. So there's still enough room for them to get in there, but is not optimal for them. especially given that every couple of weeks this is all cleaned out and I put a few fresh soaked cotton balls of eucalyptus oil down for that. So look, doesn't mean you're not going to have rodents or mice or rats, but it's something that sort of deters them in the areas that they would like to go to. The other thing too, I'm redoing my runs as per usual every winter. It's just this big madness of rewiring and redoing runs and habitats. I will have leftover mesh in winter, possibly towards the end of winter, and I'm actually going to hardware cloth the entire inside. So literally nothing will be able to come in from the walls. And I'm thinking of making some sort of gate or something on here as well. But that's a long way off. It's not a top priority. I've got other things to do before then. There's only limited funds, limited time, and there's only one person, me. But ducks aren't really great with drill. So anyway, that is my second tip when it comes to handling straw and hay. And I'm now going to go and stack up my straw and hay. And in that, look, there's always so much to do, and one of the little, it's a kind of bit of a bonus, one of the things that I've fallen into the trap of doing is I just pick things up and put things down instead of putting it away there and then. And when you have animal husbandry, like, you know, when you have over a dozen poultry, or you have, you know, just so much to do. I'm a horticulturist, I'm a duck keeper, I have aquariums, I've got my elderly cat. And so when you've got all that going on, it's, especially when things get crazy, you know, springtime, weather events, someone falls ill, it throws everything out. And when that happens, it's so easy then to look at everything and go, oh my God, look at this mess, and to get overwhelmed, and you know, mess harbours things you don't want as well. So, little tip, try and get in the habit of just doing it there and then. So one of the things I would be doing is the bales of straw and feed will be delivered, and it will be sitting there until 6 o'clock at night when it's time to bring my puppies inside for their bath and to go to bed inside. They sleep in the house. They sleep in my house with me. So, and then it will be this madness, you know, juggling 2 different tribes of duckies, bath times, cleaning their beds, bringing in, you know, and it's like, well, why am I doing this to myself? And then if it starts raining, you know, things get wet in between. And so I'm now going to go and fish up my bales of straw and hay and arrange them here. But anyway, so that's my second tip on duck keeping when it comes to managing and maintaining their bedding, straw or hay. And I do hear sometimes people go, oh, you shouldn't use it because of mould. The thing is, if you clean your habitats and it's not like this mud pit pigsty in your runs or outside, then you're not going to have an issue. But if you have a pigsty, basically, literally, a mud pit, and it's constantly wet, and you only change your straw once a week, or you don't even top it up in between those changes, and you don't top it up in between those changes so the floor's kept dry or the ground's kept dry, then you're going to have issues. Yeah, I think people avoid things because they entail extra work, but I'm telling you now, I much prefer having straw or hay under my baby's feet. Ducks are clumsy, they easily injure themselves, they easily get scrapes and infections in their flippers, or which leads to epidermatitis or bumblefoot. I don't get that. The only time I've got bumblefoot is when I've taken in ducks that have never been treated or maintained properly. It's even if the breed's got a predisposition to issues with their legs or epidermatitis, it's one of those words, epidermatitis on their flippers. Even if they're predisposed, if they do get it, later on, it's because, yeah, animal husbandry is shit and you need to fix it up. And, you know, very easy to get sidetracked. Like I said, shit happens, the seasons change, you get crazy times, someone gets ill, you might get ill, and it's easy for things to pile up and snowball and get out of control. Given the fact that you do need to do daily maintenance. If you don't want to do daily maintenance, do not get pet ducks, do not get pet chickens, don't get poultry, period. If you don't want to do daily maintenance for the next 20, 30 years, then probably babysit someone who just have a duck, babysit their duck, spend some time, but obviously it's not going to be cut out for you. It's not fair on the animals if you're not going to get off your ass, rain or shine, and get out there and do the shit you need to do, whether it's raining or not. Anyway, so enough of that. So yeah, fix stuff up, put things away there and then, try not to pile them up, because you don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. You know, one might get ill, one might get injured, two might get ill, two might get injured, and if you've got stuff that is to be done later, then, you know, it's going to get out of hand quickly. Anyway, so without further ado, I need to get shit done and pick up these bales of straw. Blessed be, and merry part for me and my duckies. Bye for now.